あるとマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンドから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。
To my motherfucking man, 50 grand, the alcoholic man, inject a tall can in his bloodstream if he can. Biggie Smalls, the 50 stroker, MC provoker, chocolate tie smoker, huh? I like to max and Maximas and Acuras. Your girl butt cheeks, I'm smacking, huh? The raw rapper, spine snapper with the little, cause all my lap a shot, the ball, I ain't your fucking comforter. And if I ever fall in love, I bet I'm fucking her. Ask the if I didn't choke her, if she try to front.
Episode 57 of That World Champion Sound Virtual Pros Podcast. My name is Al, aka Henny Omega, aka the Bandman, aka Buji Nagata, aka Two Phone Scorpio, aka Super Brazy, aka No Am Bars, aka Weed Me More. Call me Rise Smacked. It's legal in 2018. Get at me, my G's. And with me, one half of the Holy Scheming Army, one half of Blemolition, one half of the Heavenly Thotties, one half of the Bread Hunters, my main oos, Mike.
Hey, motherfuckers, it's Mike, a.k.a. Crack Saber Jr., a.k.a. Wavy Boy Smith, a.k.a. Sticky Fuji, a.k.a. Takoyaki Hanma.
Today's topic, the Wrestle Kingdom 12 episode. Al and Mike break down one of the hottest, glorious Nippon exports of the past couple years in a very respectful and honorable manner. Arigato gozaimasu. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at VRTLPros. Hit us on SoundCloud. Hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes. Leave a review, please. And if you haven't, download that Bloody Disgusting podcast application. Have all 57 episodes in the palm of your hand. Mike, we got some emails. You mind starting off with the first one?
Yeah, let me go look. Let me go look through this email. Let's see. The first one is, I guess. I guess. Oh wait, no, because there was one before this. Hold on. Are we gonna? I mean, there was only two people wrote in their year-end ballots. So I don't even know if we should read these.
We can skip it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Dan and Brady, maybe next
They're
time.
good. They're all good. RTF, maybe?
No, there's one from Chris. It says Bullet Club. Oh, no, I read that last year. Forget it. Okay, so the first real one that's from Pistol. This is another controversial one. I don't know if I'm supposed to read this one either. Sorry, I'm skimming this. Sorry, I should have did all this beforehand. Okay, this is a long one. It's from Pistol. It's titled Fuck Bix. This is more so for you guys, but if you're short on emails and want to read it, I don't give a fuck. Just wanted to firmly support and back Mike on the fuck Bix rhetoric. When I came back to the tape trading boards in 08-ish and everything was on DVD and being sold for $1 to $3 a disc, abandoning the hassle of trading and becoming strictly a buyer was no brainer. Around this time, Bix posted a long diatribe about how single disc ROH conversions should be banned, and anyone selling or trading them is basically subhuman. I responded that as a buyer, I like the option of paying half the price for a barely noticeable downgrade in quality for something I barely care about and will watch once and never give a fuck about again. He told me I was wrong and that I should be buying 2-disc versions of the show. Once I saw how passionate he was about something so meaningless, I decided to have some fun with it. I told him that I have 1 and 2-disc versions of ROH shows and can't really tell the difference in quality. He's flabbergasted. He went back and forth, and it got to the point where he personally converted and uploaded 2 of the same 30-second clips from 1-disc conversion to 2-disc to prove his point. I responded that I didn't see the disc difference. He kept on, and eventually I got bored of fucking with him. But yeah, from just a small interaction, I quickly surmised that this dude was a clown and needed to leave his house more often. Fuck Bix. P.S. Al, don't hate me for knowingly accepting a downgrade in VQ to save a buck. I've heard your judgments and disagreements with Mike over video quality on the mixtape, and I'm with Mike. You've got some pretty high standards. Peace and love as always, Grits Boy. Yeah, I mean, I think because it's topical, the Wrestle Kingdom, we're probably going to get into this bootlegging discussion in a little while, or pirating as it is known now. But yeah, I agree. Bix he's kind of a wormy dude. Like, like I always say, good for him for turning his hobby into his real job that he gets paid for. Not many people get to do that, but it also means being kind of slimy and being weird about shit. And it's par for the course, I guess.
I'll save my piracy topic for 2 Minute Scramble. Yeah. Up next is from Shot Glass. Whoop whoop. Ayo, what up, homies? Been meaning to ask this for a minute, and it might have been covered, before, but I don't know. Why is your intro the censored version of Let Me Get Down by Biggie? I love curse words, so I always pretend that they're in there. Stay stoned and fuck Jason Jordan. Shot Glass, a.k.a. Hash Wilder, a.k.a. Big Erection, a.k.a. Val Penis, a.k.a. Tight Ass O'Neal. I like that last one. The reason why it's censored is because I believe it's a DJ mix by someone in the Bay Area. And so you can't play swears on the radio, so that's why there's no bad words in that intro. That's
what I never asked Al, but that's what I assumed. I assumed that was, since it's a mix, that the person that did it used the censored version for whatever goddamn reason. There's a few like Mad Lib things like that where he uses the censored version. And it's very annoying. Because I like swear words too, Shot Glass. I love them. Yeah. Love them, but that's what you get. Next one, this is going to be a controversial email, I think, is, I don't think he left his real name. I don't know if he wants me to read his email name, but I'll just say this is from Jeff.
Yeah.
It's titled Michael Elgin Controversy. Max. There we go. His name's Max. Sorry. Hi, Virtual Pros. It's Max from Columbus, Ohio. Here again. Sorry for the lack of AKAs, but I wanted to get this out to you since you are low on emails and I don't have much time today. I don't know if you guys have seen anything about Rockstar Pro in Dayton, Ohio, having Naito versus Elgin on a show coming up soon, but I was curious what your take on this matter would be. A friend of mine bought tickets for us to go the moment they went on sale. This was long before the Elgin controversy, something I know little about beyond listening to Meltzer's take. It's hard for me to form an opinion on this matter as I don't have all the info, but I can say I've thought Elgin was a scumbag ever since I saw his episode of the Kevin Steen Show shoot interview series where he talked about pissing in a woman's face without consent. Naito has been my favorite active wrestler for a few years now, and it seems unlikely I'll have a chance to see him live without going to this show. I'm conflicted. It goes without saying many of the most celebrated wrestlers in history were human tire fires. That doesn't mean that Elgin's actions should be excused in 2018. I'm tempted to say we should take the L and not go, but also we already spent the money, probably can't get a refund, and they won't be changing the card whether we go or not. If it truly sucks, they have put us in the position of having to support Elgin to see it, Naito in my home state. So the question is, what would Virtual Pros do if you were in my position? Thanks for being the best wrestling podcast in the game. Much love. And then he sent us the link to Facebook. I personally, I know I come off like a jerk on the show, and that's, it's kind of meditated, but if you guys don't know, the whole controversy thing is basically this other wrestler that no one gives a shit about, sexually harassed a woman, or allegedly, I guess, but I think it's pretty much proven at this point. And Michael Elgin was kind of a dick to her, and he's getting all the flack for it because he is more famous, which is, it's a weird thing, but I mean, it makes sense. And so, now everybody's like, all the police on the internet are like coming down on him, and by rights he deserves it. And I will say it is weird. I saw that shoot interview thing like a year ago, and I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, people are into this dude when he's like completely admitting to like peeing in this girl's face, and that's why people don't like R. Kelly. So it's just like it's kind of weird. It's just one of those things that the internet didn't notice, so they didn't come down on him for that. But like outside of that, you're your own person. Don't fucking listen to what the fucking internet has to say. You got to be true to yourself, and you're not the morally corrupt person in this. It's Michael Elgin. It's not going to make you morally corrupt by seeing him. And I go into anything assuming every person, basically like any athlete is a celebrity, is probably a douche, or like, as you said, a human tire fire. So, if you're cool with that and you're true to yourself, I don't think it really matters. Like I don't know. I could just go on and on with this, but you're not being morally corrupted by watching this person. So I don't think these people that are like so trigger happy to be outraged about everything and want to like put a ban on everything, they just need to like fucking enjoy life, because I don't know, man. I don't know if where these people grew up, or they've just been sheltered their whole lives, but everybody is like, there's there's immoralness in everybody's life, and you could just fucking point fingers all day, and you're gonna find like wrongdoings in everybody. So you can't just be like, oh, we're gonna ban everything, because it just leaves a boring cop life, and that's no fun. What do you think, Al?
Well done, Mike. Yeah. Well done. I agree with everything you said. I mean, I'd be naive to think that everything I supported with my dollars is free of sin. So, I mean, for you, Max, I'm not going to judge you because you decided to see Naito. The money's spent. Michael Elgin's a piece of shit, but I don't think this should stop you from seeing who you want to see. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Next up is from DJ, titled Chair Riot. I fucking love chair riots. Don't you? Throw chairs, get money. Thanks, DJ, aka Justin Thunder Peter Luger, aka Gothic Jerry the King Cobra, aka Joe Gulak, aka Keith Lean. Yeah, I mean, once I saw that little 2-second clip of Terry fucking Cactus Jack at the ECW arena, getting chairs thrown in the ring, I knew that ECW was going to be extremely my shit. So chair riots are cool. How about you, Mike?
Yes, I would agree. They are very cool. Okay, next email is from Denzel from Real Nerd Hours. It's titled Ric Flair. He says, "What up, Vert Bags? As you two may be aware, I'm pretty new to wrestling. I basically don't know a ton about it before 2014, outside of what is selectively put in front of me on the mixtape and what Ash shows me. What's the deal with Ric Flair? Was he actually a dope wrestler, or is he propped up the way he is because a bunch of other dudes from that time period are dead? What was he good at? For context, my introduction to Ric Flair was him trying to mac on his daughter's co-workers on Raw. Also, who are some dope 80s era wrestlers? Denzel, aka Giant Baba Ganoush, aka Hunter Thirst Helmsley, aka Terrorizing Ya Bitch, aka I Got Your Ho-Ho Looney, aka The Ravishing Thick Dude, aka One Man Gangbang, aka Your Chick Gave My Dick a Shoot Bear Hug and Now It's the Big Blue Weenie, aka Your Juggalord and Savior Violent Jesus Christ, aka Still Only Dating Women Born on 6/3/94. Catch me in a time machine in a hospital jotting down names. I like Ric Flair is good. He's good for his time period, and what he is good at, I think everybody would say his number one attribute is his promo skills, which is not an actual wrestling skill, but he's good at wrestling too. He's really good at selling. He's really good at being like a dipshit, bad guy, like fucking guy you want to hate, and a guy you want to love at the same time. He has that weird charisma, and he's good for that style of wrestling. That style of wrestling is not, it's not modern at all anymore. If you could get into that, that's cool. I do think he's old to the point now where if you're not into it, you shouldn't be crucified for that. It's just something you're not into. It's kind of dated at this point. But I mean, if you watch fucking any Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat match and you don't like it, you're probably not going to like it. Just skip to watching his promos. His promos are always great. As far as other 80s wrestlers, again, Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man is probably my favorite 80s wrestler. If you're getting into Japan, I would say like Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, of course, Abdul the Butcher, if you're like into brawlers. But yeah, I mean, I didn't fucking watch Japanese wrestling in the 80s, so I grew up with like Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat. And I mean, I guess those are my two favorite 80s wrestlers. What about you, Al?
What's the deal with Ric Flair is a great question for me because I feel like I'm a little too young to enjoy Ric Flair. I bought that DVD when it dropped like in the mid 2000s and like it just wasn't for me. I mean, yeah, like Mike said, he's a great character and he's had like pretty entertaining matches, but like I don't watch any of his matches for leisure at all. Some good 80s wrestlers. You ever heard of Hulk Hogan? He's dope. Macho Man's cool. Tiger Mask, Dynamite Kid. I think you would enjoy those if you ran those back personally. Last up is from Matt B. EMS boys, what up? Sup, boys? Has New Japan reached a level of popularity where fans who bought in like a year ago are now angry at the results and feel the need to be crybabies about it online / cancel their subscriptions? Seems like it. Love, Matt. Yeah, I think so. I think this might have started last year with Kenny Omega and Okada just because of the run that their match got. And so it's like a total internet thing for people to think that they discovered X first and then get really upset when other people find out about it because they like think that this discovery makes them like very unique. And so there's a lot of gatekeeping with New Japan these days. And I think NJPW is at that level where people will hop off just because normies have found out about it.
I was going to get into that when we did Wrestle Kingdom, but I mean, I do genuinely enjoy how mainstream popular New Japan is getting, and it's great. Like, it's great to see this thing that I mean, it's never going to take over WWE, but it's cool that there's like an alternative that gets mainstream press. But yeah, it's going to bring out those types of people. You can't do anything about it. And it's going to be, it doesn't matter. Like, they could have been watching for 6 years or 6 months and they're going to come out. It's just people that are destined to be like that. I will say, I was thinking about it, and the one group of people I will allow to be like that are that small group of people, like, I think it was like fucking 8 years ago, or maybe it's not that long, like 5 or 6 years ago, that small group of people that actually plunked down the $120 to watch the G1 tournament. If you were one of those, one of those people, you deserve to be cranky about anything you want to be, because you're a real one spending $120 to watch a G1 tournament. So, but outside of that, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's every year around this time, people are like, oh, the booking is blah blah blah, and that's how you can tell somebody is not like a huge like longtime fan, because I don't think Japanese booking's ever gonna go your way, man. It's never gonna go your way the way you want it to be, because they're Japanese and you're not, and like that's that. Like, it's not gonna be American style booking. And I think people just have this, people like that have like this notion that booking is the same around the world when it comes to wrestling, and it's definitely not. Just watch Mexican wrestling. It's watching fucking aliens wrestle. So like I don't know why you would think Japanese wrestling would be apparent or like parallel to American wrestling, because it's never going to be. So you got to stop.
I mean, we've pretty much came out that Mike and I got back into Japanese wrestling when Wrestle Kingdom 9 dropped. I mean, are we fake fans? I don't think so. Yeah. But some people might say so just because, I don't know. For whatever reason. I completely admit it. When I used to watch Japanese wrestling in the late 90s and the 2000s, I never watched New Japan outside of the juniors. Like, it just wasn't for me. So, but I still knew about it. So there you go. I think that was it, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. 2-man scramble topics. I got 3, kind of light, but I'm saving all my wrestle hot takes for the main segment. My first one is, what's the more incredible month of wrestling to you? January with Wrestle Kingdom and the Royal Rumble, or August with SummerSlam and the G1 Climax?
Oh, you're not throwing in April there for WrestleMania?
Well, it's in April with New Japan. Sakura Genesis?
They just announced. Yeah, I think it's Sakura Genesis. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. But I mean, you have for WrestleMania weekend, you have 8 million American independent promotions doing shit too. I think I think January over the past few years has become my favorite thing, because it's like right after Christmas, it's right after New Year's. It's like a thing to look forward to. You're guaranteed to have like at least 2 like mind blowing matches. You're not guaranteed with SummerSlam, even though that's like August, like SummerSlam weekend is in where I live, so I should be more pumped about that. But it's still like you're not guaranteed anything outside of like a good takeover and G1. But yeah, I'd have to go with January, because it's just like, it's like a little holiday thing basically. Yeah,
I think I'm on January's side too. I mean, you have Wrestle Kingdom, which for the past 4 years has always been a pretty incredible card. And the Rumble for the past 2 or 3, I feel like, with Cena and AJ Styles. You had that 3-way with Seth Rollins, Brock, and Cena. Those 2 matches are pretty great. And Mike and I get to gamble. So to me, January is like the most exciting time for wrestling for me. My next one, watching Jay White last night get dragon screwed, like leg whipped 50 times by Tanahashi, was pretty incredible to watch. Are there any wrestling moves out there today that still give you that feeling of, oh man, that guy's like for real probably hurt?
Huh. I mean, outside of chops, when I like get slapped in the face, every time that happens, I still go, whew. But
yeah, me too.
As far as actual moves, man, it used to be that the double stomp, but it's overdone. I think now it's been done too much over the past few years. But that one used to always be like fucking made me terrified. But after Finn Balor doing it all the time and just a bunch of other wrestlers, it's kind of lost its impact with me. Yeah, I think honestly that's it. I can't think of anything else offhand.
A good like neck breaker, like Rick Rude type, that always kind of freaked me out. I'm like, man, that guy's not gonna walk again, even though he does, but it always gets me. The chin breaker, where someone like puts their head like underneath another person's like chin and then sits down. I'm like, oh, that guy doesn't have any teeth anymore, but he still does. But still, number one is the dragon screw leg whip. I always think someone's ACL is fucking super torn every time. Even though they get up walking every time, I'm like, oh man, you're going to need crutches after this. But it still always gets me, like after 20-something years. It freaks me out. My last one, for whatever reason, piracy was a pretty big topic this morning on the timeline. Do you personally have any reservations for people that do this?
Okay, yeah, so this was one of mine too, because I have a lot of half-assed ones. Basically, there's so many levels to it, and you got to understand that you can't just be like you're fucking a major like ethics theorist now, and you're gonna come up with like this is how it should be and blah blah blah, and like you sound like a fucking moron and you sound like a hypocrite because you're gonna like end up just doing something hypocritical like a week later. You can't be like that. There's obviously like it's gray areas for everything. You can't like obviously there's people out there that are real actual scumbags and just pirate everything, and that's like their lifestyle, and those people are fucking worthless mongrels. I'm not gonna fucking go hard on myself for stealing shit because I buy a lot of shit too. A very fair example is I have never watched Lucha Underground legally in my life. And is that my fault? No, because there's no fucking way I could get that channel. Like I'm not offered that channel. Should I feel bad about it? Should I invoice all of the, the 50 fucking indie wrestling shows I went to because I had Lucha Underground people on it that I went to specifically to see them? Should I invoice them and be like, I want my money back because I feel wrong about this because I pirated your show and it introduced me to you people? Like, I mean, if it's people who are just like, it's a one-time thing, that's fine. If you're just like habitually stealing shit and never paying for anything, you're just a weirdo and you should get a new hobby or do something. But there, like I said, there's gray areas to everything. You shouldn't come out with these absolute statements on Twitter or the internet where you're like, oh, blah, 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 because you're going to fucking, everybody watches shit free on YouTube. People go to bars and get free drinks all the time. You get lit in this shit for free. Like you can't just be like, oh, you're stealing New Japan. So that's crazy. Especially, again, we've said it a million times, when it comes to Japanese wrestling, none of us would be here if it wasn't for bootlegging. So
exactly. It's a little more nuanced than that. Like anyone in our era, like late 2000s, it's not like we were out copping fucking King of the Deathmatch 95 and Super J Cup 94 from authorized dealers. We were all stealing. We were all like trading these tapes illegally and buying these tapes illegally from dealers. However, that definitely turned me into a fucking freak that was paying for real money for t-shirts and like posters. And now New Japan, like with money that I've earned. And so, I mean, for me, I'll pay for stuff for convenience. Like I'll pay for New Japan World because, yeah, I mean, it's the best quality. It's $8 a month. That's not going to break my bank. Thank God, as like a 33-year-old.
Yeah.
Like I'll pay for iTunes, like, and their music service because I don't want to have any porno viruses on my phone or laptop. It's just convenience. Am I going to crack down on someone that decides to pirate Wrestle Kingdom? No, but I've seen it where someone will pirate it and they become a paying customer just because they had that sample. So, it's a little more nuanced than that.
I mean, that's a good point. Like I like most people on earth, I have a hacked Fire Stick where I have virtually any movie and TV show at my fingertips. Yeah. And I still am renting shit from Amazon Prime all the time because I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with this shit right now. I don't feel like looking for a good stream. I'd rather just pay the $3. And I think that's just like being a mature adult at this point. Right. And I think most of the people who do this shit are like fucking teens anyways. And this is just like, they're teens with no manners. They're just shitty teens with no manners. And there's nothing you could do about them. It's all the parenting. Come down on their parents, man.
Yeah, we got jobs. What about it?
Yeah. It's nice having jobs. Nice being employed. Okay, so that was one of mine. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot. Basically, like, my plan was, since this was like going to be a very serious episode where we analyzed Wrestle Kingdom, I was going to have all these very serious things and like talk about like seriously talk about wrestling matches I watched, and then I was like, this sucks, I don't want to do this. So I didn't actually do that. I did watch over the holiday break, the Christmas break, I finally watched DDT, and I asked the internet, and the dude from Burning Spirits, because they covered DDT, he got back to me and he recommended Judgment from March of this year, and I watched that whole long ass card. And their streaming service is really good. Like, it's, you know, I didn't have any problems with it. Nothing weird happened. It worked very well. And I did enjoy that card. It's like, it's a good mix of very weird comedy wrestling and actual real wrestling. And I had fun with it. I don't think it clicked with me where I'd want to watch it like all the time or anything like that. But I would dip in here and there because the weird comedy and the actual real wrestling is pretty good. The main event was this guy named Hiroshima versus a guy named, like, I just always want to say Takeshita, but I know it's like Takashita or something like that. Yeah. And I don't know how to explain it. I feel like people who watch DDT are just I'm going to sound like an idiot. But those guys had like, I don't even know, I can't explain it. They had like a match that was like, I don't know, just like so modern to me, like so different than anything else I watch. Like, it was kind of like moves you would see in like indie wrestling or like junior wrestling, but like it made sense, and it was like, I don't know, it was like very like cutting edge, and like they just did like all these cool moves. I don't know, I was like really, really impressed by those guys. So I would like watch them again. I dipped into like whatever their last event was from like this month, and they have a new guy named Okuda instead of Okada, it's Okuda, and he's like some like MMA gimmick guy, and he's just like kicking the living shit out of people. So I was into that. So yeah, DDT gets a thumbs up for me. Finally watched it, and I just wanted to mention that. I don't know if you have anything to add, Al.
Yeah, I watched the main event between Takeshita and Dino, and it was cool. That streaming service also has Tokyo Joshi Pro, I think, with that really buff Japanese lady. I haven't checked that out yet, but it seems like a pretty like robust service, and so I'll need to dive in sooner rather than later.
Yeah. They also had that Judgment one, also had this thing where a guy came out dressed as Donald Trump and kept on talking about anal. And it was, I don't know, man, it was something. That's some weird shit. The
Minoru Suzuki like baseball match was pretty sweet, I'll say that.
Yeah. I had a random Virtual Bros question.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Al, have you ever been to a Red Lobster in your life?
Fucking multiple times. What about it?
Do you still go? Is that like a place you go to?
Nah, it's been a minute. Like I have some homies that like, when Endless Shrimp comes around, like I'll roll and like I'll always regret it. But I mean, like those biscuits are pretty undeniable. But yeah, I've been. Why? What about it?
I don't know. It's just like Red Lobster is this weird blind spot for me because I grew up in like on the coast in Connecticut where there's a million fish and chips and a million seafood places. So Red Lobster did not exist. Like I think there was one that closed down before like I was old enough to make like food decisions in my life. And so like I just would always see the commercials, and then I moved to Albany and they had them there, and I don't know, I ended up like going like a few times where I was like, oh, this is cool, it's like it's a new restaurant, and yeah, I just remember like the biscuits were good, and I think I went like 3 times, like kind of in succession, and I had like a shrimp salad and I got sick from it, and I was like, okay, well, you know, that's why I don't need to go here. So I've only been like 3 times in my life, but I still see commercials. But in my mind, I'm like, no one fucking goes to Red Lobster anymore. But I don't know. I guess Al goes. And plus, because you're on the West Coast too. So like in my mind, I'm just like, there's probably tons of actual good seafood places, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like in comparison to like a proper seafood restaurant, like Red Lobster is like wildly trash. But I remember like taking a girl out there like when I was like in my early 20s and thinking I was doing it pretty big. But yeah, for the most part, like everything's pretty like below standard. It's like a fun, campy place to go, but like the biscuits and the stuffed mushrooms, like,
yeah,
they're like good in like a sausage McMuffin kind of way where, you know, like the ingredients are shitty, but like it just tastes a little fun.
Yeah.
That's my review of Red
That's what everybody's review. The non-fish is great. The biscuits are wonderful.
Yeah.
Instagram of the week. I just discovered this one today, thanks to Thrift Store Jobber. It's at Ham and Eggers, and all they do is show pictures of jobbers, and they probably don't need my seal of approval because they have more followers than us. But I wanted to say, once Virtual Pros is over, I'm going to start the real Ham and Eggers Instagram, and what it's going to be is pictures of jobbers and also pictures of English breakfasts. So that's why it's going to be the real Ham and Eggers. So I'm announcing it now. That's my future project. So look out for that. I guess the
IG handle is just going to be the real Ham and Eggers.
Yes.
That's a long name, man. You might want to rethink.
Maybe I'll do real Ham and Eggers and just N instead of and. This has to kind of go with pirating. I was thinking about this. How do you feel about gifts, Sal? What are your opinions on wrestling gifts? Because we've never talked about this.
Like the people that make them and like profit off of them, or just like the idea of just seeing these moves on our timeline?
Do people actually profit off of them? I didn't even think of that.
I think like dudes like nowadays get hired off that shit. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, do you like? I don't know. How do you feel about them? Do you like watching them, or like, do they do anything for you?
I mean, like, anytime I see a GIF on the timeline, it's always like of a wild ass move of someone getting dropped on the top of their head. Like, it's kind of like a car crash where I can't look away. I'm gonna watch it, but like, they don't really affect me throughout my day. Like, I wouldn't say that they're welcome, but like, I'll watch them. Yeah,
I'm just like, I kind of feel weird about them because I do think at one point people are just going to watch GIFs and just stop watching wrestling matches. And it's just kind of like, unlike the same pirating tip, when I was looking for photos to steal for Wrestle Kingdom for our cover art today, I was like looking at news sites, and there's people just like, instead of posting photos as they would have like last year even, it's just links to like Mr. Lariato's GIFs, and it's like, this is highly illegal. Like this is like CBS Sports, like just posting links to like other people's Twitter GIFs, and I'm just like, I don't think you're like allowed to do this, but yeah, it's kind of like, I like when people put other people onto old shit, but when it's just like, when you're GIFing something that happened like 3 seconds ago, it's like, damn man, let it breathe. But I mean, and in my mind, like, I don't even know how you do that. Like in my mind, you just do something with your brain where you're just like, make a GIF, and it just like, it like forms on your computer. Cause I honestly don't know how you make one so quick, but I don't know. It's just, I just really hope it doesn't become a thing where like people just stop watching actual wrestling matches. But I think it is. I
mean, it's a pretty foolproof way to get like views and followers for fucking sure. That's why I think they're so popular.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't have to watch anything. Like, I mean, you don't have to do any work. You're just like, you're scrolling, and it's like a great way to catch up on shit. But
right.
Yeah, I don't think people should overdo it, but it's going to happen. So I guess my last thing is, cause it'll lead into the main subject is, as we all know, Wrestle Kingdom it's kind of like the end and the beginning of the New Japan season. And it's just kind of like how WrestleMania is the same way, but the problem with WWE is it's like people get pumped from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, and it lasts like a few weeks after, and then it dies down until SummerSlam, and SummerSlam is usually a hit or miss. Either they'll have like a hot angle that'll keep people watching, or it'll just completely miss, and people will not tune in again until fucking Royal Rumble. I think New Japan, they do a good job of keeping people like riding along with the story from January to January every year. They do a great job of it. And it makes much more sense. So like, what do you want now that, Wrestle Kingdom is over? I don't know if I want to say predictions, but what do you want to see like New Japan do this year?
Man, so the ending has me wondering. I mean, spoiler alert, if you're listening, Okada wins.
Yeah.
It has me wondering who's next for Okada. And so I hope sincerely that Ishii, for whatever reason, gets a little run. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it'd be such a great way to like have like a new player in the main event mix. Like, he's always been a guy that's been elevating people, but just give that man like a 3-month run. Like, it was so sad to watch him in that scramble, like wrestle Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I don't know. Give him something, man. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I was very sad about that. I think like the only thing I really want to see them do outside of the normal shit is I would like kind of like to see like a new faction like come out, maybe like trim down Chaos a little because there's a lot of those dudes, and like maybe like break up some people from some of the other factions, and just make a new one because I'm a sucker for that shit. I love this shit. I love that everybody's in a faction. It makes things a lot easier to pay attention to. And so I really hope to get a new one. It's also always really good merchandising for them. I wouldn't mind buying some new merchandise. So I'd like to see a faction formed over this year.
We should watch Dragon Gate. I feel like everyone's in a gang there.
Yeah. It's very visual though. It's still very visual. So kind of hard. Like anytime I try and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get into this. There's everything about this I should like. And then like I'll look up in an event and it's like 7 hours long, and I'm just like, okay, well maybe next time, maybe I'll try some other time.
Dragon Gate experts, if you're listening, email us virtualpros64@gmail.com. Mike and I want to see some gang warfare ASAP. All right, today's topic, the Wrestle Kingdom 12 episode. Al and Mike break down one of the hottest, glorious Nippon exports of the past couple years in a very respectful and honorable manner. Arigato gozaimasu. Please stay tuned.
It's what y'all all been waiting for, ain't it? When people pay papers for gaming, they can't stain it, they want something new. So let's get reacquainted. Became the hood favorite, I can't even explain it. I surprised myself too. Life of a dawn, lights keep glowing. Coming in the club with that fresh shit on, something crazy on my arm. And here's another hit, baby Bonds. We outta here, baby. We outta here, baby. We outta here, baby. Dude, fresh off the plane, konnichiwa. Bitches turn around another plane. My passport on pivot. Ask for it, I did it.
And we're back with episode 57 of that Virtual Pros podcast. Today's topic, it's 1-4. You know what that means. It's the Wrestle Kingdom 12 episode. I think we're going to do this match by match, but I think it'd be interesting to start off with how we watch this. Like, I'm guessing you didn't watch this live. You watched it in the morning?
Yes, I sure did watch it in the morning. I actually woke up too early to watch it because it was still streaming at 8 in the morning here. And, so I had to wait until I think I had to wait till like 9 to finally watch it. And, if you guys don't know, I'm in New York, and we had a hellstorm today, and pretty much everything was shut down. So my girlfriend was working from home, but she kind of had to begrudgingly watch some of it too. So there was that.
You watched it all the way through? Like no skips, no fast forwarding?
I fast forwarded a little through the 6-man gauntlet because this is bullshit. And I think I might have paused it to go get a soda at some point, but that was it.
Oh, okay. That's pretty funny. I watched it live. I made it a big thing. I got an Indian style pizza, chicken tikka masala. Wasn't that good. A little dry, but got myself some hot and spicy Cheetos, got some coffee, got some waters. It was kind of a thing. It was pretty fun. We'll start off with the first thing that happened, which is the Rambo. I guess the biggest takeaway was that Masahito Kakihara came through, won the whole shit, dedicated it to Takayama, which was dope. I've always been a pretty big fan of Kakihara, if only for his inclusion in the Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 intro video where he's just slapping the shit out of somebody in the mount position. And I've always loved the STO. He was wearing some pretty sweet green kick pads. But other than that, like, there was this guy named Gino Gambino. He came out to some like pretty rudimentary trap music, and I guess he's part of Bullet Club. And I was like, man, they're fucking letting everyone in this motherfucker these days. Like he has to have been like a sponsor or something, and like just wormed his way through to become like a BC member. Like I don't think he's ever going to be part of the elite, but I didn't know this guy was affiliated. But other than that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's something happened like a couple months ago where Bad Luck Fale did a show in New Zealand or something, and he made this Gino Gambino guy an honorary member of the Bullet Club, and I was like, okay, man, like, okay, he's going to be living off that for like 25 years, and like he's never going to do anything close to New Japan, but here he was. Supposedly, yeah, he might have paid his way through this. And yeah, that's my main point. I took a lot away from this Rumble. I think I'm gonna start skipping watching these because they're real sad to watch. The surprises don't really outweigh the sadness of watching this, because there is like the sadness of like people like Gino Gambino in this, and then the sadness, like I felt really bad for people like Bushi and Yoshihashi, who were like bust their ass all year. They're stuck in this bullshit match. Speaking of Bushi, he wore his entrance mask, had like an eye on it, like a light up eye on it. And that was another thing I felt bad about. He has this crazy mask technology and he had to waste it on this bullshit match. He's probably been planning that shit like all year. Like, oh man, I'm going to win the fucking junior heavyweight championship and I'm going to have this fucking cool mask. And he's just stuck in this bullshit match. The other takeaway is, my conspiracy theory of only the whites being in the Elite Bullet Club is Chase Owens was in this, and he was wearing a T-shirt that said "Honorary Tongan" because they don't consider him white. So I don't know, Bullet Club. I don't know if you guys listen to this podcast and you're just feeding the flames of my conspiracy theory, but it's not looking good for you guys.
That Liger theme though still rings off. I was super pumped to hear it. I'm always pumped to hear it. But yeah, you got next.
Next was the Junior Tag Team Championship, which was Roppongi 3K, Shonyo versus the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. And this was actually like a pretty good match. You could tell that the Young Bucks probably wanted to have more of a, I guess you would say, traditional style match than their normal matches. There's like actual psychology in this, and you know, there's still good moves and shit. It was a pretty decent opener. Like overall, I don't agree with the booking. You know, I don't know, like, I don't know why you're pumping these dudes up and you just have them get beat like that. I mean, it was a hard fart battle, as they would say. So it wasn't like, you know, a squash match or anything, but it was kind of I think it's kind of an odd psychology to have them have this epic match. Well, you know, in their eyes, an epic match, and then just have the Young Bucks stomp them at the end. But whatever. They sell shirts and they're good at it. So it was a good match. I thought it was a good opener. It was probably better than I expected, honestly.
I thought it was solid too. Like, I was pretty shocked that Roppongi 3K lost. I mean, they probably spent like $2,000 on that Rocky Romero smoke backpack, and I thought for sure they were going to wash the shit out of the YBs, but I mean, they didn't. I mentioned this on Twitter, but the most regretful thing I've ever said on this podcast is that the Roppongi 3K theme is better than the Roppongi Vice theme. And I am sorry, I was full of shit that day. The Roppongi 3K theme is brutal, and I can't believe that it was played in like a 60,000 seat arena. Like, your dreams can come true, apparently, but man, that theme is oh boy. Next up was the gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championship. It was Chaos, Beretta, Ishii, and Toriano. The Bullet Club, who else was in this? Taguchi Japan, Juice Robinson, Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. I did a lot of phone stuff during this match. I didn't really give a shit. I did see Ishii suplex Bad Luck Fale, and I thought that was pretty fucking sick. Other than that, this was not that good. What'd you think? Yeah,
man, I don't give a shit about 6-man tag team championship. That stuff is stupid. I tried to watch it just because Ishii was in it, and I was like, man, I feel bad. I want to watch this guy. He's like my favorite. Yeah. And I did get to catch him suplexing Bad Luck Fale, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, outside of that, I was just fast forward all the way. Plus, Tama Tonga blocked us on Twitter, so anything he's in, he can fuck right off. So I just skipped right through this. Next up was the special non-title match between Kota Ibushi and Cody Rhodes with Brandy Rhodes. I might have a controversial opinion on this match. I thought this match was decent. I thought this was a pretty good match. I think it could have been a lot better. I think Cody Rhodes is much like Linkin Park to me, where he tries so hard, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. He's I don't know, man. Like, it's just like he's had a year plus now. I think he's finally getting like kind of like an established like style and character. So he's kind of like finally coming together after just being like a WWE creator wrestler. But it's still like, I don't know, man. Like, it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. It was a good match. They did that fucking crossroads off the ramp or off the apron. And it wasn't as impressive when they replayed it and you saw Ibushi's head like just snaking through his arm. So it didn't look very dangerous. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think like, I don't know. I don't think New Japan is cut out for Cody Rhodes, basically. Like, I don't think he fits the style. And I don't know if that's controversial. I don't know if you love this match or not, but it was a good match. And it wasn't like, if this was on like a WWE pay-per-view, it probably would have been the best matches on the pay-per-view. But for this card as a whole, it was still like probably like the 6th best match, maybe.
Mike, were we watching the same match? I don't think we were, because this match was fucking incredible. I don't know why, but Brandy Rose was dressed like a really sexy shitbag Liger. I don't know if that was on purpose. I was into it, but I was like, wow, she looks like kind of like 84, 85 Liger whenever he came out. And it was interesting. I kind of like had this in my head, but Kota Ibushi is like the Russell Westbrook of like wrestling, where everything he does is like so fucking reckless and like with like ill intentions. He has to be like top 5 in the world. Like, I know like it's really like trite to say blank could take a broomstick to a good match, but he literally did almost with like a sex doll. And him and Cody had like a really, really solid match. It was not too long. It gave me everything I wanted. This has to be like in the top half for me in terms of like quality of matches on this card. I loved it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. Maybe I'm salty because it could have been Kota Ibushi versus Ishii, which I would have loved a million times more. But I don't know. Like, I just think like I said, Cody's he's a good wrestler now, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't think his style works for New Japan, but maybe that's just me.
Next up was for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. It was LIJ, Evil, and Sonata, all capital letters. Respect my man's name. Versus the Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer. Mike, I got a question. If you were ramp side at this show and Lance Archer fucking spit water on you, what would you do?
I wouldn't do anything because he's a very big man, but you know, I would be bummed about it. That's for sure.
Like in my head, I'd like jump that guardrail and just fucking give him a 2-piece. That wouldn't happen because he would wash me like in 2 seconds. He's a big man. But I've been to Japan. I'm gonna sound like one of those like fucking like gatekeepers. It's a pretty clean country, and I know some people were probably really fucking irritated that this man spit water on them. So I know I'd be pissed off. I'm a pretty big germaphobe. I also like wondered, because this dude, Lance Archer, must have done this for like 8 minutes, and he had like 64 water bottles. How did he walk so effortlessly down the ramp with this many water bottles? It was kind of amazing. I usually don't give a shit about the tag team matches like during Wrestle Kingdom, but I'm really into this tag team with Evil and Sonata. I think Sonata might break off from LIJ and become a thing. Kind of hope so, actually, because he's really good. Evil maybe as well. He might break off, but I thought this match was at least good. I didn't do a whole lot of phone things during this match. But yeah, I was happy that LIJ won. What'd you think?
I actually like this match a lot. Like you, I don't really pay attention to the tag team shit. And to be honest, I think this might have been the first actual Davey Boy Smith, Lance Archer tag team match I've watched all year. And I was pretty impressed. They're just like 2 big hosses in there doing big boy moves to these guys. And it was real impressive. And they looked like real ass beaters. And then they just kind of lost at the end, which was kind of a letdown, honestly. Because I was like, oh man, they're just gonna fucking ruin these dudes. They're just going through them. But yeah, then they do a couple moves to them and they're done at the end. But yeah, they made me fans of them. They have like, they have that look of like scummy, shitty white guys that would fit into like 80s and 90s Japanese wrestling. So good for them. They got it down, man. So I'm a fan of theirs now. So I'll be on the lookout for more Killer Elite Squad matches. Next match was outside of the main events, easily my match of the night, hands down, and that was Minoru Suzuki versus Hiroki Goto. This is a hair versus hair match, and also for the Never Openweight title, which I guess, like, I mean, if I look back at like the past Wrestle Kingdoms, I think this is always my favorite match outside of the main events is the Never Championship, because this is the ass kicking championship. And, and man, like they fucking, I'm not like a huge fan of Goto, but they really went for it in this one. Fucking Suzuki hanging, like fucking strangling Goto from the top rope, and like where he's like hanging and you see his fucking legs hanging. That's what I wanted to make the cover art, but I couldn't find a fucking photo of it. Amazing. That photo should be on the fucking cover of all of the magazines this week, but it won't be. But like, that's such an amazing visual. They just fucking really brutalized each other. I was honestly kind of shocked that Goto won at the end. I thought Suzuki would pull it out because they're just making him look like the world's ass beater. But yeah, I really fucking love this match. And I was like, even after this match, I was like, if the last 3 matches ended up being kind of shitty, I won't even care, because this match was definitely worth watching. What'd you think?
Oh my God, this match was so fucking good. And like you, Mike, I would have been happy if this was the best match of the night. Like the hanging spot, and then like Goto fell down and like he rolled his eyes in the back of his head. I swear to God, there was like a busted eye vessel. Like it was like red, and I was like, oh shit, that was a shoot choke out. He's fucking out. And I think he might have been. I don't know. Someone talk me out of it. If there's any fucking choke truthers out there, let me know. That shit was bonkers. On top of that, when Minoru Suzuki just had like LeBron level hops and drop kicked the fucking soul, the fucking brain out of Goto's head. Oh my Lord. I think it was like maybe 1:30 my time. Oh man, I howled. This match was crazy. Like you said, like the Never Championship is always like at least top 3 every time I've watched Wrestle Kingdom, just because it's like the slap your lips off match for like 18 minutes match. Yeah, this match was super, super good. I was really into it. The next match was the 4-way match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay, Marty Scurll, Hiromu Takahashi, and Kushida. I was looking forward to this match a lot. I was a big fan of the 3-way a couple years ago with Low Key, Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor, and Kota Ibushi. And I knew I was going to see some pretty wild shit. Ospreay hit that moonsault off of the whatever it's called, the rig, I guess you can say, whatever. I don't know what it's called. That was pretty crazy. Saw a lot of moves in all capital letters. However, during this match, an earthquake happened in the Bay Area, and I had to pick up all my toys off the floor. I was very rattled, and I just couldn't get back into it. I think it was halfway through. Like, it was a good match from like what I remember, but I was just frazzled because I thought I was gonna die. Dave Meltzer will famously go down as saying an earthquake happened, did it matter, or some shit on Twitter. And I was like, That's why Dave has a house in Silicon Valley and is feeding his kids off the scoops, is because fucking nature will not let up. I need to watch this match and give a serious fucking opinion on it. That's why Dave's the god and you're not. I thought this match was pretty tight though. What'd you think?
Yeah, same. But I wasn't like four-way anything is my least favorite style of match. I fucking hate especially WWE versions. WWE is like anytime they start where they have the promo thing where one guy comes in, another guy comes in, another guy, I'm like, fuck this, and I just turn it off because I fucking hate it. But I hate when in the past Wrestle Kingdoms they would do the junior tag 4-ways. It's like complete fast forward for me. But this like super delivered. This was amazing. This is exactly what kind of like quote unquote spot fest you would want to see. Like these, like there was like, even though they're doing all this fucking crazy shit in this match, there was nothing like super contrived. Like, it all made sense in, like, its own universe. It was all fucking great looking. None of it looked shitty. And, like, the only complaint I would have is if I was a super nerd and did care about, like, booking, is that it was kind of dumb that they did, like, a 4-way match just to have Will Ospreay pin Marty Scurll, which they could have just did a 2-way for. But either way, it didn't matter. Like, this match was great. This was another, like, home run match for sure.
Man, Hiromu's next, though, I feel like. Oh, my gosh. The crowd loved him. I love him. I wonder what they're going to do with him in 18. I'm very curious.
You gotta, like, man, he's going to kill somebody with that sunset bomb one of these days, man. I don't know how. He did that one to Marty Scurll. I don't know how he's, like, because his head landed on the guardrail. I don't know how he's still alive. I don't know how he has a fucking head anymore, but he's going to get in trouble one of these days. It's going to go wrong.
Hiromu's going to get fucking written up by management for that power bomb, and it's not going to be fun.
Yep. Okay. Next up was the Intercontinental Championship, which was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jay White. I think I forgot to mention I think during that last match was when I officially started getting sick of Cyrus, because I watched the English version, of course.
Yeah.
And I started to really regret that New Japan doesn't do the thing where you could just switch over audio, because I was like, I can't fucking, like, I never liked that dude when he was the ECW commentator. I fucking hated him. And I thought, like, once he became the ECW commentator was when I was like, I don't care if ECW goes out of business. Like, I can't stand this fucking guy. I think he's awful. Like, I get it. Like, that's his character. Like, I get that he's probably not like that in real life, but I fucking hate it. And he's finally this past year in New Japan, he didn't really grasp it yet, but now he's like full on his character again, and I fucking can't stand it, man. I just hate him. So I think this is I'm gonna say it's my last English commentary, but I know that's not true. Like, I know I'm a fucking lazy piece of shit, and I need to hear English people talking, but I don't know, man. Like, I hope he somehow gets fucking replaced, even though it seems like he has a job for good. Anyway,
can you brag about it? Can you brag about it once you click JP as opposed to EN on Twitter? I'd be pumped if you just bragged about listening to Japanese people talk. I'd be really.
I might do
Please
that.
do so.
I might do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jay White. I was very intrigued by this match because it was like Hiroshi Tanahashi at this point is a real broken down piece of meat. And, Jay White he's a good wrestler, but he looks like a boy playing in his daddy's clothes because he's wearing his mean street greaser, mean street punk clothing, but he has such an innocent face. And I think I've already said this, but he looks like the villain from, Grandma's Boy. And, I was, so I was like, I don't know, maybe this match was going to suck. Like, Tanahashi can't really do much. I thought this match was pretty good. Like, I obviously wasn't like, match of the night or anything like that. I thought for what it was pretty good. I was like had my fingers crossed that Tanahashi would pull it out, because I thought it would, like, that would have been the one booking decision I would have probably been real upset about, is to have this schmuck come in and just beat him, like, right off the bat. Because he's not like, Jay White's not like, outside of the scary leather clothing he's wearing, he's not really an intimidating guy. So it's like, it's good that they had Tanahashi win. I'm sure he's going to lose tonight. He's probably going to lose his belt to some random dude tonight, but it was good that he got a win after a few L's for the past few Wrestle Kingdoms. And the last thing I'll say is, I think that weave he put in tonight was a bad look. I understand he's probably starting to miss his long hair, but that weave wasn't the same as his normal beautiful hair. But it was a decent match. It wasn't the best, but it was decent.
For me, this might have been the second worst match of the night. I was surprised that Tanahashi won, seeing as like they were doing so many of these like knife pervert vignettes for like 4 years, only to have him lose to Tanahashi. It was kind of a tough spot for Jay White. I think he's a good wrestler. I think it was him and Ospreay, Ring of Honor this year or last year, that like got like really rave reviews, and I like that match a lot. But yeah, like I said, just a tough spot for him just to like deliver on like the biggest stage in Japan. And so like nothing in this match for me clicked, and it was just like a whatever match for me. I wish nothing but the best for Jay White, but I don't know where he goes from here. Like, he just looks like kind of a hoe after losing like his opening match to Tanahashi, like one-legged Tanahashi. That's it. He just got beat. Well, that was it.
It made sense to me because, like, even with Tanahashi being all broken down, he's still like a New Japan legend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by the end of the year, I'm sure Jay White will, like, next Wrestle Kingdom, he'll be in a better position where he's like the front runner and not the underdog. But I don't think they could have him right out the gate beating like one of their legends on like the third match from the top. So,
conspiracy fantasy booker talk. You think they're developing Jay White just because they want insurance for Kenny Omega jumping to the WWE?
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I was exactly wondering that, but it is weird that they're putting all this stock into another gaijin. So I don't really know. Maybe that's what it is.
Also, how mad and how salty do you think David Finlay is right now in his fucking tiger panties?
I was thinking that too when he was in the Rumble. I was like, man, I liked him more than Jay White, and like he's just a fucking punk in this goddamn opening Rumble. Jay White's fighting for the Intercontinental title, but I don't know. Hopefully they'll work on him next.
Yeah, maybe. Fucking Finley's kid just got leaped over, man. Oh, yep. So fucked up, man. World is cold. Next up was the no DQ match for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship between the Cleaner Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take my time here. Just let everyone know that Al was right. The Cal. I said that this would be a spectacle, and it over-delivered. This match was fucking crazy. I loved every minute of it. It was like over 30 minutes long. I guess it could have like been like 5 minutes shorter, but this match was brutal. Like the spot where Omega does the springboard over the guardrail into the table was ridiculous.
Holy shit, man.
When the chair broke and like Jericho was just like whooping his ass with it, like it's nonstop brutality, like a lot of violence. I loved it. The ending where Omega hits the one wing angel on the chair, that's like some video game shit. Like Jericho is so good at playing to the crowd. If someone said he was the GOAT, I don't think I'd flinch right now. He might have like a fucking argument for it. Like career wise, like he's up there. I love this match a lot. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think I'm on record as saying that, like, because there's people that were whining about this match, like, because I don't know, he was taking a spot away from somebody else or something, yeah. Or he's too fucking old to have a good match or whatever the fuck they're saying. And I've said it a million times on the show. Chris Jericho is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers.
Me too.
Even though he's been kind of lame lately because he's fucking old. So I was like, going in this, I was just like, he wouldn't do this match if he wasn't going to deliver like an amazing match. But at the same time, you get to that age and you just, you still think you're the shit, even though you're not. So I'm just kind of like, maybe it'll be bad. But yeah, this was, I would probably say this was my favorite match of the whole show. Because it, again, like you said, it definitely over delivered. Like I thought this was going to be good, but it was fucking exceptionally good.
Right.
That spot where he goes through, Kenny Omega goes through the table, and I saw Cyrus's fucking iPhone just sitting there. I was like, man, how did they not know he was going to go through that table? He probably just ruined that iPhone. And Jericho's just like fucking beating the shit out of everybody. This match was like, as far as like me saying Cody Rhodes is not like a New Japan style wrestler, I will say this is not really a New Japan style match, but it worked well. I will say the one thing that was kind of weird about it was this is a no disqualification match, but there's like times where they did count outs and Jericho broke up a pin with like holding the ropes at one point, and I don't know, that kind of shit was weird, but it doesn't matter. Like this was a fucking amazing match. Kenny Omega proving once again he's amazing. Chris Jericho again, one of the greatest of all time, probably top 10 of all time at least.
Easily.
So if anybody naysayed this match, I hope you feel like a big fucking dumb idiot, because this was a great match. Finally, the main event was Okada, of course, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, versus Naito. I think a lot of people were expecting Naito to win this. I think the story was leaning towards that, just because they're building up this whole thing where he's been holding this chip on his shoulder for 4 years because he didn't get to main event Wrestle Kingdom when he was supposed to. And plus, Okada has had the belt for literally forever at this point. And so it just seemed like he was going to get beat. And I don't know, man. I thought this match told like a beautiful, beautiful story. It's weird because I thought this match had a better story to it, but I don't know if it was my favorite match wrestling wise. But I will say the one thing that was weird was Okada's pants. I don't think that's a look you bust out on the biggest stage possible. I think maybe you want to test run that first somewhere else. But I don't know. I guess you gotta go out. You gotta go out there. You're there. So I don't like his pants. I don't think I don't like his pants. But I think it played into the whole story, because for me the story was that like Okada has been getting his ass beat for the past year. And he's been pulling it out at the end. And I think like this match, like kind of like represented or symbolized him finally being like confident in his role as like the king ass beater of the world. And, him finally vanquishing his last foe of the year. And I thought it was great. I thought this was an amazing, amazing story. Beautiful, beautiful match. 17 stars all day. A great fitting ending to Wrestle Kingdom. But Al, I know you probably were a little butthurt. Maybe, I don't know. I know a few people were butthurt. But how do you feel?
Before I get into all that, before I get into my feelings, I think the pants thing. I got texts about it. We got like DMs about it. It sounds like you were just kind of like ambivalent about these pants. For me, like Okada has a great set of yams, and for him to deny us his upper thighs and his fucking calves, I don't know, man. It's kind of a bad look.
Maybe that's part of his metamorphosis into the ultimate bad boy heel, I guess, because he knew he was going to break some hearts tonight. He was breaking hearts in a different way, not showing off those legs.
It's ridiculous. Like, that dropkick is high for a reason. He's been doing his fucking squats, and he doesn't show him off at Wrestle Kingdom. I guess, like, if I were to give a review on his pants, I guess they could have, like, used a little more fringe. The fringe could have been a little longer. I thought, like, the taper was a little fucked up. They were, like, bell-bottom sort of in a way.
Yeah, man. They could have been a little tighter.
Yeah, I don't know. Tighten up those pants. Like, Nakamura's pants in the E right now? I don't know, man. Slim them down. It doesn't look good. This might be a hot take, but I thought this match was great. I thought it was phenomenal. But I don't think, like, Okada and Naito have the same chemistry that they have with, like, other people. Like, Naito, Omega have better chemistry. Like, Okada, Omega, like, they have better chemistry. Like, when they work together, it seems like they're a little out of sync. Like, in the beginning, you can tell that, like, they're not on the same page a little bit. If I'm being, like, a nitpicky, like, Puroresu asshole, like, that'd be my only critique of the match, is that it didn't seem like they were in sync. I thought the home stretch was, like, really, really well done. In terms of, like, being butthurt, like, everyone knows I'm fucking LIJ all day. But, like, from what I've seen from New Japan in the past couple of years, like, no one wins it like their first go around in the main event. So, like, even though I was a little shocked because, like, it seemed like it was, like, such, like, a softball for Naito to win it, because they've been building up this, like, the story of Naito and redemption and how he could beat Okada finally and, like, claim his stake as the ace of New Japan. And they went with Okada this time. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom 13, I'm not going to be shocked if Naito finally pulls it off. Like, this is the same shit they did with Okada and Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Like, it's a slow burn. Like, for people that are, like, having meltdowns, for people that are for real going to unsubscribe from, like, NJ World, like, let them finish that story. Like, I would be shocked if Naito never wins it at the Tokyo Dome. I'll say that. But I think he is. Like, just give it time. Like, just have a little bit of patience. This match was really good.
I'll also agree with you. I don't think they click as well as, like, all of those other combos, but that doesn't take away from the match. It's still, I don't think this was as good as. Yeah, I don't think it was as good as the last two Wrestle Kingdom main events, but I mean, it was still a phenomenal match.
Exactly. Like, the past 2 or 3, like, have just been out of this world. But, like, I don't think it hits the highs as, like, the G1 final last year with Omega Naito. Like, it certainly didn't hit the highs that the trilogy did, but it still doesn't take away that this was, like, a phenomenal match. But yeah, I just don't think this is my favorite combo currently in New Japan. But overall, what'd you think of the entire card?
I thought it was really great. I don't think the high-end matches were as good as last year's or even the year before. but I do think that it might have been the best overall card out of the past few years since we started doing this, maybe. Because I honestly like pretty much fade out for everything except for like the never titles and the big titles. So, I mean, I think, because there's no bad matches on this. Everything was good to amazing. So yeah, this might have been like the best overall card in the past 3 or 4 years, outside of not having like the best overall match in the past 3 or 4 years.
Co-sign 100%. Like top to bottom, this like has to be the most complete card we've ever covered. But I don't think it hits the highs of the previous years. That doesn't mean that this card was bad. I think this card was like pretty much incredible for the most part, but it doesn't have that like definitive moment that I feel like the past couple have had.
For sure.
Yeah. If you have any thoughts about Wrestle Kingdom 12, if you want to get mad at us, if you want to participate, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. Last up is the mixtape with Yuka Kinoshita. Wow, new one, right? Tomohiro Ishii, Microman, and Tom Strong? Who's that? I don't know who that is. Please stay tuned.
What's up, Virtual Pros? It's your boy, JOSHIBOI, calling in live from Tokyo. Feeling a little battered and bruised after last night's Wrestle Kingdom 5-hour-long marathon, but definitely not as battered and bruised as Naito was feeling this morning after taking that beating from Okada. But make no mistake about it, there sure was a lot of commotion and anger in the Tokyo Dome from the fans leaving last night. Shout out to our friend Kaz for the wonderful riverboat party, but there is no sleep yet because New Year's Dash is about to take place over here by the Tokyo Dome. So we're going to invite all of our friends over. There's going to be a big party here at Denny's. And Virtual Pros, I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Denny's over here is starting to serve a wonderful omelet and rice, but the secret ingredient is weasel. All right, this is JOSHIBOI. See ya.
And we're back with episode 57 of the Virtual Pros podcast. If you haven't already, just pause the episode, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at VRTL Pros. Our jokes these days on Twitter, I don't know how we're not verified yet. We'll see. Hit us on SoundCloud, hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes, leave a review, please. And if you haven't, download that bloody disgusting podcast application. Have all 57 episodes in the palm of your hand. The first match of the mixtape, which you can find on YouTube by typing Virtual Pros Mixtape. It'll pop right up. The first match that we'll be covering is Tomohiro Ishii versus Hiroyuki Ito, Big Mouth Loud, 9/11/2005. Tomohiro Ishii, he comes out this match wearing like MMA capris. He has that John B. chin strap and the high fade. Like I bet like in 2005, like this dude must have been doing numbers. Like he's like a rugged, handsome looking dude. Like he's still like pretty rugged, but like 05, like he's pretty easy on the eyes. He has this barrel chest. Like I know that he's 4'11", but I don't know. He probably still got some kisses. Hiroyuki Ito from like a light internet search is like some martial arts man. And right now, not that interesting to me. It appears that like BML, Big Mouth Loud, was like a mid-2000s thing. And like, so for me, that means like I have no idea what this shit is. But like for the first 2 minutes of this match, all I see is like slapping. All I see is kicking. All I see is like some hard ass suplexes. And this makes me think I probably should watch more BML. This is just 10 minutes of like two beef boys just doing really mean and like hurtful things to each other. Like the last clothesline that Ishii like hits on this dude like made me howl. This is a moderate recommend. It's pretty short, but I liked it. What'd you think, Mike?
I could be wrong about this because I didn't follow Big Mouth Loud either, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know who ran it, but I'm pretty sure it was kind of like a sort of like a vanity thing, kind of like maybe a Japanese PWG where they just took a bunch of wrestlers and did like their kind of style matches. Like I think Yoshitsune has a match on here. I think maybe even like Asuka's or Akana's done stuff for Big Mouth Loud. So I think it's just like this weird like hybrid promotion. But I am glad that Al picked an Ishii match because I didn't even look at what matches he picked until after Wrestle Kingdom. So I was like, oh, I'm glad I get to watch at least one decent Ishii match tonight. And this, yeah, as far as I could tell, this is like some weird like rings pancrase style like worked shoot match where they have 10 counts and shit like that. And they slap the shit out of each other. Ishii's bleeding real blood at one point. He's wearing some real cool white boots. I will say that his fade is pretty sweet, but I do think he looks better bald. Maybe not as handsome, but definitely he looks stronger when he's bald. And so he is a wrestler. I will say, if you have no previous knowledge of Tomohiro Ishii, and I was like, hey, watch this match, and you saw these two dudes come out in their black biker shorts and their weird shoes, and like they're kind of plain looks, you'd be like, no, I'm gonna go do something else. Like this is probably, I mean, they do beat the shit out of each other, but like visually, this is not like the match you're gonna sell anybody on. I will say this is like the main problem I have with these kind of work shoot matches now that MMA exists and we all know what it is that they do really slap the shit out of each other in this match. Or they're like, there's a part where Ishii like punches this dude in the fucking face and he gets knocked out for a little while and it looks real. But it ends with Ishii doing like a Boston Crab and the guy taps out in like 3 seconds, which would be, if this was real life, that would probably really happen because Boston Crab's really hurt. But you can't suspend the disbelief of punching the shit out of each other for 10 minutes and then like it takes 3 seconds to tap out to the Boston Crab. You have to at least struggle a little. So that's like the kind of stuff that like MMA ruins for these types of matches, at least for me. So I thought the ending was kind of shitty, but outside of that, if you want to see a young Ishii just slapping the shit out of some other guy, some other schlub, just watch this match for sure. And on the Ishii tip, he loses his hair. I don't know if it's a Wrestle. I think it is a Wrestle Kingdom. I think it's a Tokyo Dome match at least. I think it was 2010 as he lost a hair versus hair match, hair versus mask match versus Tiger Mask. This does not exist on New Japan World. I don't think it exists on YouTube or any other shady streaming site. But if you have a line on this match, I've been wanting to see this match for months now. I want to see Ishii get his head shaved. So if you know how I can view this match, hit us up at virtualpro64@gmail.com. My first match of the night is kind of a last minute. I didn't want to pick any serious shit this week because we're gonna watch 6 hours of serious wrestling. So it's a little match from the WWE version of ECW from 2007. It is Big Daddy V, aka Viscera, aka Mabel, versus Tim Storm, aka Tom Strong, aka ex-NWA 10 pounds of gold champion Tom Strong. This is just like 4 quick minutes of a very like just a clip of a moment in time for WWE and their version of ECW. Did you watch this when it was like modern?
I was kind of like a faithful viewer of ECW, WWE version. Like, even though like I always say, like I never like even watched wrestling like during the mid 2000s, but I remember there was like a John Morrison CM Punk match that was like a banger. I thought Elijah Burke was going to be a thing. I know that the Pounce Man, Monty Brown, he showed up. That was tight. So like a Big Show was on there wrestling Batista one time, like at Hammerstein. It was so weird. Like I couldn't not watch it.
Yeah. I hope you mean that John Morrison CM Punk match that happened because Chris Benoit was ill. couldn't make it to the pay-per-view. I don't know if you're talking that match, but anyways.
No, it was another one. I think CM Punk finally wins the title. I think it was that one.
Okay. But no, yeah, I'm the same way where I was like not really watching regular wrestling at this point, and I wouldn't say I was a faithful watcher, but I would tune into ECW because it was like, I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like even watching it now, like it's like if like you took people from WWE, but like they didn't have, there's like no rules, like there's like no writers or anything. Like it was just like this weird amalgamation. Like it's kind of like Big Mouth Loud, where it's just like this kind of weird vanity project for WWE. They were like, we'll just stick anybody in there. We'll do this weird shit. It featured one of my my personal athleticism Hall of Fame, that vampire girl Ariel. She's definitely athletic women to ever grace WWE. And there's just like there's weird shit like making Big Daddy V like supposedly like a monster heel that just crushes people. And so this is like a clip from where they're trying to build him up as like a serious contender. And Matt Stryker comes out, who was like, I guess, a manager. I think he was like even a GM at some point in ECW, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Did you think since you watched ECW at this point, do you think Matt Stryker is more annoying now or more annoying then?
He's just always been at this like 10 out of 10 like annoyance level with me. So I can't say he's gone up or down. He just does something for me that just makes me just want to break stuff, man. I hate Matt Stryker.
Yeah, I mean, I think even back then people were on his case. I didn't hate him back then, but yeah, now I'm not a fan. So this is basically a squash match featuring Tim Storm, aka Tom Strong, who would later, 35 years later, win the NWA 10 pounds of gold. I don't even think he gets a move in on Big Daddy V. There's a part where Joey Styles refers to him as a young man. He is he's actually at least 41 in this match, and Big Daddy V is about 30 in this match. So I don't know who's the younger man here. Also, I forgot in the beginning, Taz calls Matt Stryker short. And then Joey Styles is like, "Hey, dude, like, you look in the mirror lately?" Like, he doesn't say it like that, but I mean, he kind of says that. It was kind of weird hearing Taz call somebody short. I'm very glad that Tim Storm lost the long hair in his old age. He looks a lot better with short hair because he looks like a weirdo in this. Overall, I mean, this isn't like anything fucking necessary to see, but it's just like a great moment of time for ECW. I actually haven't dipped into those on the network, but I really need to go back and watch at least a handful of those ECW episodes because it was such a weird time for wrestling.
Yeah, not a whole lot to add here. Yeah, Matt Stryker comes out to the ring. I'm like already fucking super annoyed by this clip. Another clip like shows up immediately afterwards, and it's a Viscera, aka Big Daddy V. He puts the boogeyman through a chalkboard, which, like, admittedly, like it looks pretty great because the chalkboard just explodes. I might have chanted ECW if I was like in the crowd. It was pretty intense. Tim Storm is like such a loser. He doesn't like get the camera put on him, like, nor does he get announced by the ring announcer, which is like wild fucking sad. My last note. I think Mike brought it up already, but Joey Styles calls Tim Storm a young man. But in 2007, according to my abacus, Tim Storm is 42 years old. And that's not a young man, Joey Styles. My last note is that, can you think of a wrestler that was like running shit while wearing the booty short / like humorous low cut top? Because I can't. Everyone that wears his outfit sucks.
The only one is Scott Norton.
You're right, dude. Scott Norton. Flash is the only one that pulls this off. Everyone else, It doesn't look good.
I think Rick Steiner had it in the Steiner brothers. I think both Steiner's brothers had them, but yeah, if you didn't have an amateur wrestling background gimmick, then you wore this, you were just a fucking loser for sure.
Yeah. If you had a ponytail, absolute loser. Combined, it wasn't happening for you. Next up, a YouTube clip titled "Yuka Eats 3 Pounds of Steaks." This video is brought to us by a pretty prominent Japanese YouTube celebrity, Yuko Kinoshita. This appears to be like one of her earlier joints, but Mike, do you know where she's eating at?
I would have guessed this was Ribera Steakhouse.
You would have guessed right. This is a wrestling podcast, and I want to keep it fucking topical. I picked this video as a way to like shamelessly announce that one Al, aka Kenneth Omega, has procured a brand new dead stock Ribera jacket, size USA medium. I take PayPal. I don't know like what wrestler had to pay like immediate bills. I like to think it was El Samurai, but the silver joint, it's the one that John Cena wore with that CM Punk when they toured Japan a couple years ago. I might keep it. Maybe I'll wear it. Maybe other people will think I have very serious wrestling opinions. Most likely we'll sell it, but like, yeah, I have one. It's kind of weird. With that out of the way, Mike, you're at a steakhouse. Please break down your order, like the type of steak you get, like the cut, how it's cooked, what sides you get, etc.
Oh man, I'm not like a huge steakhouse person, so I don't know. I don't really have I don't have this planned out too well. So I'm not like, I'm good with just fucking like just normal prime rib. I don't need anything weird. Just prime rib is fine. I mean, I like I like asparagus or spinach on the side, mashed potatoes, of course,
Yes.
or baked potato. I think that would be that would be my sides to go to. But the steak, I mean, honestly, steak is always fucking good to me, so it doesn't really matter.
From rare to well done, what are you getting?
Oh, rare for sure. Rare for sure.
My man, if you picked anything above medium rare, I would have ended this podcast. I'm glad you said that. This video states that Yuka, she throws down 3 pounds of steak, which calculates to Google a little under 50 ounces, which makes this, to me, the most impressive stunt eating video I've ever seen, like in recent memory. Like, I recently had a 20-ounce New York strip, and I was like struggling with it towards the end. And so for this very waif woman to like more than double me up is like super impressive to me. And I hope she walked out with like 6 Ribera jackets, because that's a lot of like meat to eat. With that said, I can respect the lineage of this restaurant, sorta. Like, I understand by like owning this jacket, like it represents like a landmark in the career of a pro wrestler. With that said, these steaks still, in my opinion, look like fucking trash. Like that fucking stick of butter that's on it. You're supposed to pour that over while you're cooking it. Like, why is it still like in solid form? Like, there's no rosemary. Like, there's canned corn as a side. There's like meat and rice is like a good move. Admittedly, I'm an Asian person. Of course, I'm gonna rep for rice all day long. But corn, I don't know, B, you're fucking up. With that said, pretty impressive for someone to throw down this much food in one sitting. I think it was like 40 minutes. Still, pretty commendable. What'd you think, Mike?
Yeah, so I'm an avid Yuka Kinoshita watcher, so I've seen her put down way more food than this. This is like a fucking walk in the park for her, drop in a bucket, as you would say, for her. I also, when I saw her on the list, I was like, oh, this must be, she does have a video with Yuji Nagata, so I was like, maybe he picked that. So I'll probably pick that sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But, and then I saw that it was Ribera, and my girlfriend was here, so she was like, oh, I want to watch this because she watches the Yuka Kinoshita videos with me. So, and I was like, oh, I'll probably pick this video because he wants to talk shit on Ribera Steakhouse because he thinks that place looks like trash. And then, so I was like, and she's she knows a lot about steaks. She grew up on like a cow farm or some shit, so she's been eating beef all her life. And so like without provocation, I was like, what do you think these steaks look like? Because she doesn't know what fucking Ribera Steakhouse is. And she was like, they look like truck stop steaks. And I was like,
told you.
So yeah, I guess Al's right. They do look like trash. Yeah, this is definitely early in Yuka's career, YouTube career, at least, because these are like way more amateur. The only other thing I do have to add to this, and this has to be wrong, it has to be like just somebody who does her subtitles fucked up, because at the end of the video, instead of saying they're 3 pounds of steak, she's saying they're 1.5 kilos each. So they're like 6 pounds of steak altogether, or some shit like that.
No way.
Yeah. So I was like, there's no way. They're not 1.5 kilo steaks. But so either way, very impressive. And like I said, there will probably be a sequel to Yuka videos in the future. Now that all the gloves are off, and I could pick the one with Yuji Nagata. Okay, last video of the night is it's a Lucha Libre video. Once a year, I'm like, maybe I should put a Lucha Libre video on here. And it is Microman or Microman and his partner El Gaito versus Chamuel and Mihei from CMLL sometime in 2017. Microman is a name I see on people talk about him on Twitter. I assume ironically, not as he's like an actual good wrestler, but they talk about him because he's a tiny man. He's a Microman. He's smaller than most midget wrestler or little people wrestler, whatever they want to be called. Most minis, they're called micros here. He is like, I don't even know. He's probably like 7 inches tall. Like, he's like the fucking, he's the tiniest man. He's the same size as Kemenito, and Kemenito is too small to wrestle as a midget. So like, this was like, it's weird seeing this man. Like, he is a fucking tiny man. I was afraid that this whole segment was going to be just 20 minutes of me giggling because I am immature and I know I'm going to go to hell, but I'm going to try and get through this. So this match starts with the introductions of most of the wrestlers. And so they're walking down the big CML ramp with all the advertisements on it. If you've seen CML, you know what I'm talking about. It's in the fucking arena. And there's these 4 women in the background just unenthusiastically kind of swaying back and forth as a dance. And it's a real jarring visual seeing these tiny men running across this ramp and these women, and then they get in the ring and they keep doing this thing where they introduce the wrestlers and then they cut back to the women and they cut to the wrestlers and they cut to the women. It's like this weird, like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but it's just weird, it's weird camera direction. There's Mihei, I think it's Mihei. Is it Mihei? Yeah, Mihei comes out to the weirdest music. It's like, it starts off, it's the Star Wars Imperial March, and then it turns it into some weird techno song, and then he does a horse gallop down the ring the whole time. It was very weird.
He's doing the really Gangnam style. He's doing the side Gangnam style.
Oh, you're right. It is Gangnam style. I was very sad that even the referee in this is a small mini man. Cause my favorite spot of all midget matches when I was little is when one of the midgets would bite the referee's butt. And I knew that wasn't going to happen because you can't bite another small man's butt. So they didn't do that spot. I also think Mexican midget wrestling is a little different. So Chamuel, his mask is just like a wicked clown, like a juggalo clown. And I'm just like, the fuck? I'm like, what does Chamuel mean? So look it up. And it's like some biblical shit, and it means a man who can see God. And I'm just like, why is he dressed up like a fucking clown? It's the weirdest, like, yeah, it's just a weird thing. Mihei's costume is, I can't even tell what the fuck he's supposed to be. He looks like he's like a Cayman Rider, like a rip-off Mexican Cayman Rider or something. So he looks like a goofy ass, but he, even for a tiny 3-foot man, he has this stance like he could fuck you up. Like he's just like lurk in the ring. Like, I don't know. He has like that fucking tough guy stance. And I'm just like, I don't fuck with that guy. He'd fuck me up. So good for you, Mihei. So I was like, oh, I don't know what El Gallo means either. And I looked it up. It means the cock. So that's a cool.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Supposedly it means the cock, or it can be slang for like tough guy. So I assume it means tough guy. But El Gallo's mask is also a chicken mask, so I think it is supposed to mean the cock. So
that's cool.
Yeah. You will, if you watch this match, and let's be honest, none of this wrestling is good. It's fucking terrible. Like, it's fucking terrible little men doing weird fucking moves in this. And if you're not akin to Lucha Libre, they wrestle in a giant size, like boxing size ring. So you have these tiny 3-foot men in this gigantic ring that's like bigger than my apartment, like, and like to them at least, like from scale. And so it's like a very weird thing. So, but if you watch the match, you'll get to see the tiniest Canadian destroyer ever delivered. One of the, I can't even remember who does it to who, but there's I was impressed by it. I was like, that's so tiny. Like, it's so tiny. They did that. There's also a part where I think it's, I fucking lost track. I think it's Mihei. Mihei tries to do a surfboard to Microman, and Microman is too small to surfboard. Like, he's like, I can't do it, man. So another wrestler has to run in and like knock him over to like cover for it. But it's so weird that like he's even too small where you could like lock his joints to do a surfboard. Overall, this was just a silly match to watch. It's not good. I just heard people talking about Microman on Twitter, and I was like, maybe he's actually good, because some of those little guys, they're actually really good. And he's not one of them. He's too small to be good. But if you want something very bizarre to watch, or you just want to freak your friends out and be like, hey, check this shit out, your non-wrestling friends, just put this on, and they'll be like, okay, cool. I get it. What'd you think though, Al?
Yeah, I have a pretty sneaky feeling that a friend of the show, Shot Glass, he'd be really into Chamuel's outfit. Some definite MMFCL on display here. Mihei's outfit, it's like primarily like a golden brown outfit, and it has like green and red lines throughout, which like, it looks pretty ornate. But when like the camera does a wide shot, he just looks like a hamburger with like an arm and legs. Like, it looks like the lettuce and like ketchup and tomatoes. And like, I was watching this and I was like cracking up. Like, I strongly believe that if there was like a luchador named La Hamburguesa, they'd be like an incredible like worldwide star. They'd be all over BuzzFeed, like, no doubt about it. The front row chairs at Arena Mexico appear to have like faux leather backs and like butts, which is pretty sick. I too would like to watch wrestling in comfort. I couldn't help but notice though that Microman, he's pretty buff. Like, I'd like to know his workout routine. I was wondering, like Microman has to be like 2'8", right?
Yeah,
like, he's under a yard tall.
Yeah, at the tallest. Yeah.
At the very like top, he's like under.
He might be smaller than. Yeah, he might be smaller than Vern Troyer, and I think Vern Troyer is like 29 inches or something like that.
So, like, do you think they make like mini like 4-year-old benches and stuff? Like, how did Microman get so buff? Like, I don't know what workouts. Like, his shoulders, like his triceps are really big. I just don't know how he did it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like a Google search, like might take me like down some pretty weird paths if I look out midget workouts, but I might do it for the show. We'll see. Not much to say about this match. Like, it's fine. The moves are good, but like, I'm not going to revisit this anytime soon. Microman, he does a pretty great job of playing a technico from all accounts. I will say that like, I can't help to love like the fan shots during this match. There's one lady in the crowd. She's very bonita. If you're listening, hello. But at 15:23, this older man, they cut to him. Like, he appears to like be having like a pretty good time with his wife until someone throws, I guess, like some popcorn or something really hard at this man's face. And it's crazy. Like, this guy looks like for real ass hurt. So like, if you have the mixtape loaded up right now, just skip to 15:23 because you'll see someone just get humiliated. And it's real fucked up. That was a lot of wrestling, man. And that was episode 57 of the Virtual Pros podcast. If you haven't already, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud. Hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes. Leave a 5-star review. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already, download that Blood Disgusting podcast app. Have all 57 episodes in the palm of your hand. Maybe tag them on Twitter and just be like, Vertbags forever. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Mike, first episode of the year. Last words. You got it.
Hey, man, thanks for listening. Let us know if you want more deep analysis of wrestling events. You'll probably not get it, but hey, who knows?
People love it, man. That was episode 57. See you in 2 weeks.